say some days you're gonna win. They say some days you're gonna lose. I tell you, I got news for you. You're losing all the time, you never win. No, if you believe that's how it's gonna be, I better put you down. Get up, you take your book, you come down on the ground. You gotta save me now, you better turn around. And I looked around, I was heading down. Oh, somebody throw me down the line. This is some days you gotta give. This is some days you gotta take.
Good morning. It's a Tuesday. It's a rainy Tuesday at that. CJ Nasello, it's our daily show right here on RiverBender.com. We got a nice show for you today. Coming down the pipeline around the 10 o'clock hour, going to be talking to Jan, and we're going to be learning all about the EAA Chapter 864 Pancake Breakfast. This is a really cool day where you can go with your family and go have a really nice breakfast. Plus, you can see those planes up close. That comes down the pipeline and so much more in the next 2 hours. But in the meantime, let's get to top of the hour news now. Here's what you need to know. Gregory Olibaugh, 53 of Alton, was charged on May the 12th following a domestic standoff at an apartment on Mills Avenue that occurred on May the 10th. Police responded to reports of a female being battered and held against her will. After initial attempts to make contact, tactical assistance was requested. The female victim exited safely before a court-authorized search warrant was executed. Olibaugh surrendered without incident and was taken into custody. Charges include felon in possession of a weapon, unlawful restraint, and domestic battery as a second or subsequent offense. He remains held, pending a detention hearing, and will keep you updated as more details do emerge. Edwardsville police are reminding residents to stay alert on local trails following a report of a suspicious encounter on the bike trail near Illinois Highway 157 on Commerce Drive. Here's what we know. On Thursday, May the 8th, a woman walking on the trail felt uneasy after a male lingered uncomfortably close to her for a duration of time spanning 15 minutes. Although no physical contact occurred, the woman reported the incident to the authorities. Police have not yet identified or spoken with the man involved. Chief Mike Philbeck encourages trail users to carry cell phones and report any and all unusual behavior immediately. Increasing patrols are planned to ensure safety during the busy spring and fall seasons. First responders quickly answered a vehicle fire on Interstate 255 just south of Interstate 270 shortly after 3 p.m. on Monday. Firefighters from the Mitchell and Long Lake fire departments arrived to find an SUV fully engulfed in flames. Authorities from Pontoon Beach and the Illinois State Police assisted by managing traffic in the area to ensure safety. Fortunately, officials confirmed that no injuries occurred as a result of the fire, and the swift response helped contain the fire and minimize disruption to that busy interstate. Finally in the news today, 2 Alton residents have been charged with felony counts of aggravated unlawful possession of weapons in separate incidents. Jamorian Pearson, 18, is accused of carrying a 6-shooter revolver on May the 5th, which is illegal for individuals under 21. He was taken into custody following his court appearance. Floyd Cheney, 28, was charged after allegedly possessing a loaded Glock 17 without a valid FOID on April the 24th, and Cheney was released on pretrial conditions. Both cases were presented by the Alton Police Department. At 9:07, that's a look at what's happening around the Riverbend this Tuesday morning. We'll take a look at weather. It's raining this morning, a little bit of drizzle out there. That dense fog is going to go away if it hasn't already yet. Clouds and sunshine with a thunder shower in the area later this afternoon. And then tonight, just clear. Air quality right now is at 48. Grass is moderate, mold's low, ragweed's moderate, and so is the tree pollen out there. Temperatures will reach about 80 degrees, and that's where we can expect that afternoon thunderstorm. With the temperatures rising, they do drop down to 59 overnight. On Wednesday, though, they are going to be warm. 85 degrees on Wednesday, a low of 66 as we head into Thursday. On Thursday, a high of 90 degrees degrees again, a low of 62 with more thunderstorms predicted. And then on Friday, a high of 85, a low of 59 degrees. And then on Saturday, a high of 82 and a low of 56. That's a look at the next 5 days. Here's what's happening now. It's 64 degrees in downtown Alton. It feels like 68 out there at 9:08. That's a look at what's happening around the Riverbend. Call for time and temperature at 618-465-4545, or you can just download that new RiverBender.com app today. Man, it looks really great. Love all the new updates that Mike made to that. Before we take a quick break, let me fill you in on our friends at Centerstone. You know, Centerstone is that national leader in mental health and substance use disorder treatment for people of all ages, and they have a commitment to delivering care that truly changes people's lives. And they have these dedicated clinicians that you really feel their approach every time you're in their facilities for whatever, circumstance it could be. A lot of times when I talk about Centerstone, we talk about that substance use disorder treatment, but there's also a myriad of other great services that they offer for every aspect of our lives. You can go to centerstone.org to find out more information today. That's centerstone.org, and you can also join us on the first and last Wednesday of each and every month as we explore those really important conversations. We'll take a quick break, come back with OSF Healthcare, but first I'm going to send you back to the Clark Bridge. Let's see if the fog's going away. Not really. Still kind of dreary out there.
Bad company till the day I die. Till the day I die.
Village has been
to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong. Is this movie that I think you like? This guy decides to quit his job and head to New York City.
Welcome back to our daily show on this Tuesday morning. Dr. Isha McKee.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
You got it.
We just were talking about if I was going to botch this or not. Normally it's one an interview, you know?
Exactly.
It's National Women's Health Week, and it's always great to talk with our friends at OSF Healthcare. And really, thank you for joining me this Tuesday morning.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And Randy, working hard as well, going to go bring us some some cups because we don't need any dolphin sounds.
Yeah, my straw sometimes does that.
Well, really, thanks for joining us, and thanks for talking about this important topic. And, you know, let's just kind of dive right into this because when we're talking about the changes of life and those periods for women, it's something that I will never, go through, but something I think that we all need to understand because it does, play a role on, number one, the women in our lives, the women in our life, and then two, the people around, that woman too. So how can menopause affect a woman's mood or mental health?
Oh, goodness. So menopause definitely affects women's moods and mental health. And so it affects all of us, mainly because I don't think a lot of people realize that your hormones, estrogen and progesterone, affect neurotransmitters.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know.
Yeah, so estrogen actually affects norepinephrine, acetylcholine, serotonin, and dopamine. Mm-hmm. So anytime your estrogen and progesterone are affected, you're going to affect serotonin. Serotonin is the neurotransmitter. We all know about that one, right?
Right.
It affects your happiness. It's going to make you feel irritable when it goes low. It's going to affect anxiety. It's going to affect depression. And so you may not get full-blown clinical depression or anxiety, but if your estrogen is not stable, neither is your mood.
Right. Well, and it totally makes sense. And, is that kind of why, women normally feel more anxious or sad during those, kind of periods or even those, premenopausal periods too?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you think about it, if every morning when you wake up, you're not going to have a stable hormone, you're not going to have stable serotonin. So what's interesting is even giving a woman in menopause an SSRI, which is a common medication that we give people who have serotonin problems, that won't work in menopause.
Really?
Because the problem is not consistently low serotonin. The problem is estrogen fluctuations. So it's also serotonin fluctuations. So it's like every morning you wake up and you don't know who you're going to be.
Well, and it makes sense. And honestly, it's one of those too where I can see it being pretty difficult to manage that way. And whenever you're in your role at OSF Healthcare, what are your, kind of steps? What does that kind of look like in those initial conversations and then that, that ongoing kind of care plan?
That's a great question. So when I initially meet a woman and we're having that initial conversation, it's going to be getting a symptom list. So the first thing is, what are we even looking at? So a lot of times I'll have women bring in lists. A lot of people hate that. They're like, I don't want to bring a list to my doctor. I actually encourage it because in these cases, there are so many things going on. Is it a mental health issue? Is it just depression? Is it just anxiety? Is it menopause? Is it perimenopause? And so the diagnosis is really important because if it's depression or anxiety, then they're going to respond really well to an SSRI like Prozac, like Zoloft. But if it's not, as we discussed, that'll make it worse.
Right.
Whereas if it is menopause or perimenopause, then something like hormone replacement therapy is going to really benefit them.
That's really interesting. And, whenever you're having these conversations, when do they start for most women?
The conversation?
Yeah, like the age range, whenever your patients come in, what does that normally look like? Is it, 30s? Is it 40s? Because I'm kind of curious about that too.
Well, that's a great question. And I think the problem is I don't want women to start thinking about that. I want them to just tell me everything all the time because it can be any age. And so there's a lot of times where you can get really premature menopause.
Really?
And so I don't want them to think, it couldn't possibly be that, and then suffer in silence.
And then they don't say anything.
Correct.
And that makes sense.
So I think what I would like is for women to just trust themselves and trust their bodies and bring all of their concerns to their doctor and kind of let us tease that out. So a lot of the education actually needs to be to physicians as well. I think there's a big lacking of mental health and menopause education to physicians. So it wasn't even until the early 2000s where women were even studied in menopause really extensively. So a lot of physicians lack training. And so that's one of the things that we're up against, is trying to really educate physicians in this. So when a woman in her early 30s, for example, comes to a physician with mental health complaints, so irritability, anxiety, depression, it can be difficult to tease out, is this premature menopause or is it just anxiety?
Well, and that makes sense. And it's interesting to hear the almost detective, side of things that you have to do. And it seems like, honestly, that communication and really that transparency is almost vital when you're having that conversation. Yeah,
because I think a really trained and educated physician who can be a good listener can really tease that out.
Oh, for sure.
It just takes time.
And, what are there any emotional changes that people might not expect, when it comes to menopause?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yes. So there are a lot of unexpected emotional changes. So we already discussed the expected ones.
Right.
We all know that when you're going through the change, you're going to be irritable. We know about the anger. We know about the anxiety. I think one of the things that we kind of touched on it, imagine if every morning you wake up, you don't really know who you're going to be, right? Because you have that, your hormones are fluctuating, so you don't have that stable serotonin, so you don't exactly know how your personality is going to be. Because a lot of times we don't realize our neurotransmitters are stable through most of our life for most people. And so when your hormones are suddenly shifting, you're experiencing things you haven't experienced since puberty.
Wow.
Seriously, even pregnancy is not quite the same.
Really?
Correct. And also pregnancy is expected.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, and you're making a baby, your belly is growing, your body has these obvious visual signs. Perimenopause, you're still having periods. So, you're not expecting these things. You don't really understand what's going on. So, you're waking up, you don't know who you are. The biggest unexpected thing I've observed is a lack of confidence.
That makes sense.
And this kind of, you don't really know who you are, but everybody around you expects you to be the same person.
Well, and I can see that being really I was going to go kind of right into that because of this, the mental toll that would kind of bring on top of, everything else you're experiencing, which is already, terrible because you don't know who you are. And I mean, really is, because you don't know who you are in the morning. It could be different depending on the day or even, the hour or moment, I'm sure, just depending on what situations come up and arise throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then if, you're somebody like most people, you feel bad about maybe getting a little bit upset or you don't know what's going on. And then it makes it 10 times worse.
Correct. Well, and that brings me to the next point. One of the things that's really interesting is in America, I feel like menopause has a huge shame component. So a lot of women, we don't talk about menopause. It seems to have a bit of you're supposed to go through it with strength. You're supposed to go through it with, no one else should really know you're experiencing it. You should go through it kind of smoothly. In other cultures, it's a celebrated thing. So even like in our culture with puberty, we kind of pass tampons real quietly, we don't talk about it. In other cultures, they celebrate it, kind of like the quinceanera, in our cultures, we keep these things quiet. So one of the things I would love to change, if we could all possible, make it like a celebration. So even like when you hit puberty, like celebrate becoming a woman, make it something that's not a shameful, quiet thing. And then the same thing here, celebrate, you no longer have to have birth control. You no longer have to, quietly pass tampons.
Right.
And also there's a stability. Once you're on the other end of this, your hormones don't change again. And the beauty of that stability, waking up every day with the same neurotransmitters, the same hormones on the other end for the rest of your life.
Well, and honestly, it's one of those things too, where the more you talk about it and normalize it, because you're right, it can't really be one of those things where you're shameful of it, or it's just this kind of that elephant in the room, because it's one of those things where I feel like that causes more problems than it would, create them in a way. Because if we educate ourselves and really just talk about it, I think it kind of just helps everybody, no matter if it's, anybody involved in that situation too.
Absolutely. I think there's one of the other things too that I actually learned recently, which was surprising because I've studied this for years. One of the neurotransmitters that is also affected is acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is one that's a cognitive neurotransmitter.
That's interesting.
So it's one that's affected processing. So how quickly we can process things and how well we can remember things. So the whole, it can almost mimic ADHD symptoms. So temporarily in perimenopause, some women, when their progesterone and estrogen kind of fluctuate, their acetylcholine levels can change. And they can also have ADHD symptoms temporarily. So some women, their whole lives, all of a sudden when they hit perimenopause, think they have ADHD. And so
Gotcha.
a really good physician can kind of tailor that to, no, really, you just need a little bit of hormone replacement therapy and you don't have ADHD. And so I think that's really fascinating.
That really is. And is there anything that, I mean, because you said you couldn't really give those SSRs, is that what they were called?
SSRIs.
Yeah. For people that are going through, or women that are going through menopause because of the hormone changes, is there anything that women do or can do to help balance, their moods throughout the day in a healthy way? Because I could only imagine, like you said, if you start taking, those type of things with rapid changes like that, you could cause some really significant issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a really well-trained physician can do hormone replacement therapy effectively.
You think so?
So in perimenopause, you need to have progesterone to protect the uterus because you still are having periods. But then once you hit full-on menopause, you only need estrogen therapy. But you have to talk to a physician or a well-trained practitioner because there are some contraindications to hormone therapy. But most women, it's very safe and it's really helpful.
Has hormone replacement therapy been around for quite some time?
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. See, I don't know much about that. And what's that process look like?
It's different for every woman. And so that's really something you need to find the right doctor or the right practitioner to talk to about.
That's really interesting. Do you have a moment to take a quick break with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll come back with more of this great conversation. You stay there. We'll stay here in the studio on RiverBender.com and Roku TV.
Carden Circus is coming to town. It's fun for the whole family. Don't miss out. Get ready for breathtaking aerial stunts and a heart-pounding thrill ride that will have you on the edge of your seat. 2 nights only. See the magic in Jerseyville on May 27th and Highland on May 29th. Bring the whole family and experience the wonder of Carden Circus. Get your tickets now at glowcircus.com.
Oh no, another bad headache?
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to see your doctor.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including diagnosing health issues or referring you to a specialist. Schedule an appointment today.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Mungan Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers and it will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Mungan Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Mungan Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
Yo, what up? It's McKee, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
I said, hey, Carmen, come on, let's go downtown. She said, I gotta go.
Welcome back to Our Daily Show, 9:29. A little bit of change on that 9:20. That means some seconds. I just don't know how many seconds there are, Back with our conversation with OSF Healthcare and Dr. Isha McKee. Oh, did I do it?
You did. Well done.
Look at this. I'm proud of myself.
You should be.
And it's really great to have this conversation, though, because menopause, especially if, we have a family, it could affect, everyone's aspect in that role, too, because, stressful moms or, that stressful, wife or partner or significant other, whatever that role is, I mean, it could play a toll on that dynamic.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a good point. So one of the things, I think the question in your statement there would be, how can the family support someone going through this? Yeah, and I think it's important because a lot of times when a woman is going through this, you have a partner involved. You also have potentially children going through puberty.
Right.
So I'm picturing a family where you have the mom going through menopause, you have children going through puberty, you have a lot of instability with hormones. You're waking up to a new family most days.
Well, and what are some of the conversations maybe that that family can have, or some of the things that we can do to kind of add some distressors to that dynamic and keep everybody as easy as it can be?
Absolutely. I think one of the best things that works in all situations, not just in this one, is acceptance. I think one of the key things to peace in all families is learning how to accept where everyone is at any moment. So when you wake up and you see that someone is irritable, and when a key thing to remember is acceptance isn't tolerance.
Right.
So acceptance means realizing that someone's being irritable and then having boundaries. So, you know what? I'm going to accept that, my daughter is going through puberty and she didn't talk to me kindly. And then I'm going to say, how do I have a kind boundary? Or I'm going to accept that I don't like how my wife talked to me just now, and I'm going to have kindness and say, how can I meet her needs and then have a boundary? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it really makes sense that way.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where I could see someone going, well, that kind of just seems like common sense, but it's not, because in the flows of life, I mean, how many times do we do that now in our daily lives, already? So to add that and really kind of add that pause and set those, boundaries in a way that's not confrontational is a really healthy thing.
Yes. I think a lot of people think acceptance equals tolerance, and it doesn't have to be.
See, that's a really interesting point, too, because that word tolerance is so much different than acceptance. And it's one of those two words, no matter what, if it's coming to, in terms of how menopause affects the dynamic, or if it comes with any other, mental health or any type of other similar issue. I mean, it's acceptance, but tolerance is really just kind of that line that gets crossed a little bit. And it's like puberty too. And I think that's a big one for a lot of people, more so than anything else, is dealing with children in puberty that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so interesting. I wanted to ask you about sleep, because sleep really does affect everything, and that's something I'm going through right now. And, it's just the way it goes.
My condolences.
I'm not drinking the energy drinks anymore. I'm doing good. And I'm getting over the hump and the hurdle of being tired. I'm finally figuring out how to do this again, But when it comes to sleep and menopause, I can only imagine that plays a really important role on this.
Sleep is massively affected by menopause. So some of it we don't even understand yet. But one of the main neurotransmitters is GABA. So like we were talking about how the hormones affect neurotransmitters. One of the ones we haven't even touched on yet is GABA. Progesterone massively affects that. So for a lot of women, doing some progesterone hormone therapy can really help their sleep. For some women, it doesn't help at all. So a lot of times this is where I actually find supplements to be helpful.
Really? Like what type of supplement?
Yeah, excellent question. So things like valerian root. There is also, black cohosh can be good for hot flashes. Some women find it to be helpful for sleep because hot flashes are one of the things that really interfere with their sleep. Sometimes you'll find magnesium can be really beneficial for sleep. Really important caveat, though, always discuss supplements with your doctor because they can interfere with a lot of other medications you might be on. That's really a good point to make, too. And, we were talking a little bit earlier about, having more open conversations about going through, the change. And, sure.
And what are some of the ways that, you kind of talk with your patients or your providers do, too, that kind of help normify this in a way? Because I'm sure that, for some, it could be a whole wide range of emotions that come through your office doors. Absolutely. I think a lot of times I have to actually be the one to bring it up. So I'll have a lot of women, even in their 30s, who come to me suddenly confused.
I've gone my whole life. I've never been an anxious person. I've usually been pretty calm or controlled. All of a sudden, I was at work and I had almost a panic attack. I think I'm losing my mind. I don't know what happened. And so I'll start asking more questions. And I start finding a lot more perimenopausal symptoms. And so I introduce the idea of that. And then I find out, their periods are a little bit more irregular, or they're starting to have these symptoms. And so I can gently say, I don't think you're crazy. Good news.
That's true.
And you'd be surprised how many tears that brings, though.
Well, I'm sure.
Because a lot of times that's the first thing women think. When their whole life they have felt one way, all of a sudden they wake up and they're having all these symptoms like, I'm losing my mind. I'm either having early onset dementia and it's interesting how few women, their first thought is menopause because we don't talk about it, And so it's been a real joy for me to be able to say, hey, you're not crazy. You might feel crazy and you might feel crazy for a few more years, but it will pass. And there are things we can do to help. And
it's really fascinating to hear that because I'm sure, just to finally get an answer to something like that would be such a relief for so many people.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I know that we've been, talking menopause, but kind of a fascinating question because I'm looking here just, kind of the notes. And are there any surprising upsides to menopause?
There are. So we've talked a lot about how scary it is
right.
and how frustrating it is, but kind of like how on the other side of puberty, it can be a really beautiful thing to go from being a child to an adult.
Right.
The same thing can happen here. So although your whole life you may have been one person, and there is a beauty to knowing who you are and being able to depend on that, on the other side of this, you're another person. Right. And what I have found in exploring a lot of menopause and how these neurotransmitters change is the stability that you get on the other side is a lot more strong than what you had before. And so a lot of times the flexibility that you see a lot of women have. So that a lot of women in their 20s and 30s can be very agreeable. Mm-hmm. And although we see that as a positive, and I'm not saying it's not, there is something to the truth that a woman can have maybe in her 40s and 50s that can be very freeing for her. So a lot of things that they maybe did in their 20s and 30s, all the sacrifices that they maybe made for a family, for their children, maybe in their 40s and 50s, they can say, you know what? I now have things I want for myself. And not in a selfish way, but just they can start seeing things in a different way. They have a lot of wisdom from their earlier years, and now they have the strength and the fortitude to actually act on that and make decisions that put their needs a little bit ahead.
Well, and it makes sense. And, when you're navigating this or anyone is, what is the most important thing to manage when you feel like you're, losing yourself and you're going through these changes? Is there anything that you can kind of do to balance that, I don't want to lose who I, truly am and, while I'm going through this change? Because that is, kind of scary, I could imagine, to go through that journey going, man, I don't know what I am tomorrow or what I am now.
I think this goes back to the acceptance.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that I often say in my office is that you can't ever lose yourself. Mm-hmm. And so we are all on a journey every day to creating ourselves. And so the idea of losing yourself is kind of a myth. And so each day you just kind of discover who you are in that moment, who you are today. And each decision we make brings us closer to who we want to be. And so I just think that menopause forces us to really live in that truth.
100%. And, what's one thing if you could, rub a genie lamp and, wish, 3 wishes. Is there anything that you wish, really women knew about, their mental health, before hitting menopause or just mental health in general? Because I'm sure, there's circumstances where maybe our mental health isn't the best and we're going through, maybe we already have anxiety or we have an OCD or we have, something that's already diagnosed and then we're going through a significant, milestone.
Yes, you are not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You are not alone.
Mm-hmm.
There have been many women before you and after you who will feel what you are feeling right now. There is definitely something that can be done to make you feel better. And whatever you're feeling will pass.
Really fascinating. And, before I say goodbye to you for now, is there anything else that we should, know or talk about when it comes to menopause or just, raising awareness to women's health in general?
I think the main thing that I would like our communities to know is that there is a lot of value to our women. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes when we see the emotionality that comes out in women, we think there's less value to that. And we put a lot of value on stoicism. I would just like to see a lot more value put in the beauty of the emotions.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. It was a great conversation, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No problem. We'll take a quick break. More Daily Show on this Tuesday morning comes right around the corner at 9:40. A little bit of change on RiverBender.com and Roku TV.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
When you need a project done right, on budget and on time, trust Gillahan Concrete. Gillahan handles every kind of project, big and small. Commercial, industrial, residential, from room additions and garages to patios, driveways, and more. Gillahan brings quality and experience to every job. Family owned with over 30 years of service to our community. Call today at 618-781-3914 or visit GillahanConcrete.com.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
Have a rash, pink eye, or urinary tract infection and need care now? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Start a virtual visit 24/7, whenever and wherever you need it. It's just that easy. OSFOnCall.org/virtual visit.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back, Daily Show hitting you in the nose, 1041. A little bit of change. Jackie back in the studio. We were talking about Dash. How long ago was that?
This actually just came out a couple weeks ago.
When were we talking about your book? I feel like we were talking about this before.
I had a couple books. So my first one was actually published in 2017, and then Coyotitas Rising came out in October. And I was the editor and the writing coach on that book. And working with those women was so inspiring.
That's right. Okay.
I was like, because I started talking to my publisher about, I've been wanting to write my children's book since 2007. And she was like, let's get this done.
Let's get it going. Yep.
So, and then I had another one come out in March. And then just a couple weeks after that one launched, we put Dash on the market. And
see, that's what I was curious about, because I remember you kind of mentioned it. Maybe it was off the air, and I thought, well, this is really exciting. And it seems like this has been a great jump start for you.
I'll tell you what, the support has been incredible.
Mm-hmm.
We've had so many businesses that have come forward, and they just want to sponsor the idea, because my goal is to put 5,000 books in the hands of kiddos across the region for free.
That's really cool.
And so being sponsored by all these businesses, and I have a whole list of them here. I definitely want to read off all the names.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, please do.
I want to say thank you.
We got time.
Because that's
seriously,
amazing.
yeah. Well, and it's such a big thing too, because so many times, especially when it comes to reading, I feel so bad, because you can always tell the children that go without, having that quality time to read with their parent or their guardian or whoever's that parent in their life, and it goes so much further than people think.
It really does. And, it was actually, so I went to school in the Alton School District growing up, and I remember being at Mark Twain in first grade, and there was this beautiful lady that came in. She was a grandma. She came in and read to us, and it sparked something.
Yeah.
I went home that day and wrote my first book. Now, it was a mess. It was quite terrible. But something was, it like lit a fuse, right?
It ignited you. There's something there, yeah.
And then I did young authors when I was in 5th grade. I did it again at East Middle School. And deep in my heart, I was like, at some point, I want to write a children's book. And I started to write this in 2007 when I was pregnant with my youngest son.
Uh-huh.
He's 17. And I just put the book out. So it took me a minute. And that's, life, right? Life happens. And I think I've talked to so many people now that have said, gosh, I've always wanted to write a children's book. And I'm like, let's run. Let's do this. Let's figure out, I can connect them with my publisher. I can help them, in the process or the illustrations. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there's so many people that have this as a part of their heart. Let's do this.
Well, and honestly, when it comes to especially children's books and shows and things that are designed specifically for children, it is not easy. I mean, you have got to, in very few words and very simple, illustrations, draw the attention and actually keep the continuity of a story. That's tough.
It's tough. And that's when I started writing this, I remember I was a working mom, putting in 50, 60 hours a week, wanting to come home and be there for my older son. And he was asking every day, read me a book. And I was like, man, I was tired. And he'd pick the biggest book.
Oh, of course.
And I was like, how do I make something for mom?
Right.
That is like, listen, page 2 has 6 words on it. You know what I'm saying? This is for the moms as much as for the kids, because you can get through the book quickly and inspire them, and then really just make sure that they connect and have fun, and moms finished a book with them quickly, but it's engaging and fun. And Dash, he has all the coolest adventures. So this is the first book of 10 that are coming.
Oh, wow.
The next one will be coming out in September. And we're going on book tours, so I'm actually taking Dash with me on different.
You have a real Dash.
I have a real Dash. He's about 12 weeks old. My husband was looking at this and he said, if we're gonna do this,
you gotta
gotta have a mascot. He's got to run with you. So
that's why you couldn't do polar. Pete the polar bear.
Right?
That you'd have to carry a polar bear with you.
Yeah, and I love the cheetahs, and I love that. It just wasn't gonna happen. So Dash I can take with me, and he won't run as fast as a cheetah, and that's kind of
Did you hear about that in Spain where they caught all those people smuggling cheetahs and tigers for people to have as pets? And they weren't.
Not.
Oh my goodness! And they weren't.
New?
Yeah, kind of like 2 weeks, and they weren't taking their teeth. I mean, could you imagine having a fully teethed cheetah, or even they're like, well, they're the least aggressive of the big cats. Well, okay, that's like saying the F1 is the slowest of the race cars. What are we talking about here? Anna, that's a big cat.
That's a big cat. And I had a friend that would do that. She would go to Africa and work with cat.
Oh yeah,
cat countries and in safaris and stuff.
Oh no way.
Take these beautiful pictures, and I was so jealous. I'm like, it's amazing this life that she was living, and now she can't get back over there, and so she's so sad about it. But they do. I mean, just the idea of being around them is amazing. But in that natural environment where they can, We've
been to the zoo. They aren't looking to say hello to you. Remember when the mall had the tigers?
Yes. Yeah. You know what? I still have that Polaroid.
Oh my God! I think my dad does too. We went with the cubs and all that in the cage. Yeah,
I remember. We found, because we started watching the Tiger King, as everybody did, and we started going through our pictures, and I found the Polaroid. I'm like, oh my gosh, we did that too.
I don't know how that cage held that tiger. I mean, now that I really think about it, that was a disaster averted. That's why with dash hounds, you don't have to worry.
This little guy, I mean, if he were to bite you, you wouldn't even notice. I mean, it would be, not that he ever would, because he is.
Dash is cool.
He's the sweetest little dog. I've never had a dachshund that's, I mean, and they do. They're just sweet, beautiful, sweet dogs, and so snuggly, and
they are. My grandpa had one, and the bond that he had with that dog was just incredible. His name was Scout. The dog was.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, you're right. There's something about. Now, what was the inspiration for Dash? Was he always going to be a dachshund?
He was, and it was just because growing up, I had a friend that had them.
Okay.
And I remember when I was a kid, man, I could run. You know. Today, not so much. And I remember thinking, you know, in my early 20s, and I'm trying to be mom and trying to keep going, and I would hear these beautiful stories of like the dash. What are, you know, kind of morbid. You look at the tombstone, and you see the date of the birth and the date of the death, but the dash. What are you doing with the dash? And so that resonated with me. It's like, what am I doing right now to have an impact on the lives of people beyond my time here? And I would think about how fast I was running and trying to keep up and feeling like I could never win. I could never keep up. I could never, you know, this whole social media was just getting going at that time, and I could never keep up. And so I remember thinking about my friends, you know, Dutch Hounds when she was a kid, and how watching them run, we would laugh at them. I'm like, man, they try so hard. And, you know, but they could never keep up with the Dalmatians or even the Jack Russell Terrier, you know, similar size, but designed different.
Right.
So these short little legs can't keep up. And that's the premise of the book is here's Dash feeling bad because he's not designed to win that race, but maybe he's just running the wrong race.
I just think this is so cool. You're awesome. I mean, this is so cool. So we'll take a quick break and we'll come back, but you're going to be Grove Memorial Park Saturday, May the 10th, 10 a.m. to noon. And it's crazy to me we are 4 days away from Mother's Day, or actually 5 technically, but it's just incredible to me that this summer's already here.
I'll tell you what, it flies. It goes so fast.
How many tours or how many spots you got?
I have several. Right now I've got 8 different cities lined up.
Oh, wow.
I'm speaking to 450 students at Kreitner Elementary on Friday. I'll be in Grafton on Saturday. I'll be in at Gilson Brown School next Wednesday, and then I start hitting the other cities. So, you know, ideally there's one coming up as far away as Kansas City, towards the end of summer, but I'm looking for every opportunity to give more books away. I've got 5,000 on my mark to give away. Right now I've got 550 books, and we're running to 5,000.
I love it. Well, you know, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with Jackie, learn more about Dash and where you can get your hands on a copy real quick right after a break on RiverBender.com and Roku.
When I got in a car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone, and over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
When you need a project done right, on budget and on time, trust Gillahan Concrete. Gillahan handles every kind of project, big and small. Commercial, industrial, residential, from room additions and garages to patios, driveways, and more. Gillahan brings quality and experience to every job. Family owned with over 30 years of service to our community. Call today at 618-781-3914 or visit GillahanConcrete.com.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
Have a rash, pink eye, or urinary tract infection and need care now? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Start a virtual visit 24/7, whenever and wherever you need it. It's just that easy. osfoncall.org/virtual visit.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
We're gonna take a trip across the sea. Everybody come along with me. We're gonna hit the thing down and get back.
Welcome back, 10:52. My voice is hanging on for dear life. We're getting there, Jackie.
Love it.
Coming down the pipeline on Saturday, May the 10th from 10 a.m. until 12 noon at Grove Memorial Park. You can meet Jackie and get a free copy of Dash the Ducks, and really prizes and giveaways too?
Yeah, so we're actually giving away 100 books.
Oh, wow.
And if I have some spares just in case we get more than 100 kids. But we have a Disney princess that's coming in. She'll be singing for us. I have a local artist, Luann Brands, who's going to be doing screen printing with gel plates.
That's cool.
All free to the community. And I'm going to have a photographer there taking some fun pictures. We'll have Worldwide Technology sponsored so many books, but then they also gave us, I'm going to be giving away 50 tickets to the drag races Father's Day weekend.
Oh, wow.
So parents come, enter. I've got a lot of gift bags from a lot of our sponsors that were with the Grafton Limestone, Fancy Nancy, Box Mercantile, the Grafton Fudge and Ice Cream Shop. These are a few of the different packages that we'll have. So just a fun, free day. Come and get registered, win some fun prizes. And again, just thank you to these sponsors. I have to name them because I've been so blown away.
Oh, yeah, please do. Sorry.
Simmons Hanley Conroy Law Firm, Tanya and Teddy with State Farm, Wilton Cattle Company. He was actually the first sponsor that came in to sponsor 30 books.
That's awesome.
Fountain Hill Steak and Seafood, which the food is phenomenal.
Still mad you guys have Sunny from us.
I know. It's so good. The Grafton Music in the Park, we're actually doing a cross promotion with them because we want to be there all summer long at all of their incredible events. It's so amazing. Nikki's going to be singing. You got to check it out. The Grafton Fudge and Ice Cream Shop, Grafton Limestone, Grafton Art Gallery, Box Mercantile, Fancy Nancy on Main Boutique, Kevin Hall with Bomarito Automotive, Sean Pleasant with Pleasant Results, the Jersey Calhoun Vet Hospital, Lighthouse Coffee, and then Worldwide Technology. So these are businesses that have already purchased books that will be donated to kids. So we have, actually right now I'm at 550 with the ones that just came in yesterday.
Wow.
So, but again, we're racing to 5,000. So if you know any businesses that want to help us get the word out, and we'll be in multiple cities. So we start in Grafton. I'm in Godfrey, Alton. I'm setting up things in Granite City and East St. Louis and Collinsville. And we've been in St. Louis at multiple locations.
Yeah.
Just kind of all over. And if you know of any business, I had somebody from Kansas City reach out because she said, I know the library wants to do something with this. So we're setting up some different things there and just really wanting to make sure that anybody that wants the opportunity to have their community featured to give away free books.
Right on.
Call me.
Well, and that goes out to all the organizations that do some type of, not like this, obviously, but do a reading program where they try to find somebody to read books to the students and all that. What a great way to kind of collaborate on that too.
That's exciting. And these kids, how many kids have come up and said that they want to write their own book too?
Right.
If we can launch that, how many authors can we get to publish their own book by the end of the year?
Well, and too, it goes to a bigger conversation that we're going to have very shortly is with, creative thought, because how great AI is and everything. Well, it's getting rid of the most important part of who we are, and that's our creativity and uniqueness. So the more that you can get, your hands on, somebody that's younger and saying, what are your thoughts, put them to your, paper, that's a bigger win than anything else too.
Absolutely. I love to see a kid just sit down with a notebook and a pen,
right,
and to watch them create. That is so beautiful because it's so pure. It's just really seeing what they can build. And we launch artists, we launch authors, and you just never know what that's going to build into their future.
Well, and I know that you want to be inspiration for and help other, aspiring, authors. How can folks reach out? What's your plans for that?
Yeah, so I actually want to connect them with my publisher. She has been phenomenal. She's an incredible lady that's been doing this for so many people across the community. And so anything I can do to connect them with my publisher or even help them, maybe they've got the words, but they're stuck on the illustrations. I can help with that.
Right.
And then there's other systems and programs that I've been building just to make sure that everyone has the opportunity, because sometimes it's little roadblocks that will pause or halt an effort. Like I said, I started this in 2007 and tried, and I just kept hitting wall after wall. And if I had just had this group of women,
right,
was just enough to push me past that barrier that I had built in my own head of I can't do this, and who you surround yourself with matters.
Well, and that's the big takeaway too from Dash, correct?
It is. Yeah. This group of women here, we did Cayeditas Rising. Book changed my life. I was the writing coach and the editor, so I got to talk to these women before the words were on paper, and I heard their stories, and I was blown away. And I'm like, they have figured something out. And so now we're actually working on the next book. It'll come out in September with Amigas Rising. That'll be another an international bestseller. I just know it. You get this group of women together, and it's crazy what happens. But to have them speak hope and to speak purpose and to speak about how to overcome and teach me what they've learned on their journeys, it was enough to push me past my own barriers of I can't do this, you know? So that's why Dash is here. And I credit so much of that because of these people and these books and hearing their stories. It's incredible.
I love it. Well, and Jackie, I hope everything goes well. I mean, you got a perfect weekend for it. Sip and Stroll will be happening at the same time.
Oh, yes. Sip and Stroll and the Blues Festival. Grafton is the place to be. Yes. And that, so you can hang out all day in Grafton, bring the kiddos to the event in the morning, come to the Sip and Stroll, and that's going to be so much fun.
That's right. That's what we're doing.
That's
what we're doing this weekend. I forgot.
It's growing every year. And then the Blues Festival. So there's something for everybody in Grafton this weekend.
It's going to be perfect.
Yeah. Just come on down, bring the kiddos, come and get a free book, win some fun prizes, and let's go party in the park.
Hey, we'll link everything in a write-up. And Jackie, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
We're out of time. I got to go fix whatever the heck is going on with my voice today. We'll find out tomorrow. With that being said, full show tomorrow. Hope you join me then.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back, 10:02. Daily Show on a Tuesday. Top of the hour news now. Here's what you need to know. Make sure you sign up for those daily email updates and join myself in the 70,000 people that get that around the Riverbend email right in their inbox. throughout the week and even on Saturdays. Plus, if you download that RiverBender.com app today, you get breaking news alerts right there at the touch of a button. Gregory Olaball, 53 of Alton, was charged on May the 12th following a domestic standoff at an apartment on Mills Avenue that occurred on May the 10th. Police responded to reports of a female being battered and held against her will. After initial attempts to make contact, tactical assistance was requested. The female victim exited safely before a court-authorized search warrant was executed. Olaball surrendered without incident and was taken into custody. Charges include felon in possession of a weapon, unlawful restraint, and domestic battery as a second or subsequent offense. He remains held pending a detention hearing and will keep you updated as more details do emerge. A serious accident occurred on Illinois Route 16 and 100 Sunday morning involving a 60-year-old man who was airlifted to a St. Louis hospital. Jersey County Sheriff Nick Manns reported that the crash occurred at 8:44 a.m. and confirmed that there was no fire or entrapment. The incident is under investigation by the Jersey County Sheriff's Office, and no additional details are being released at this time. Authorities are continuing to work, though, to determine the cause of the crash as we wait further updates on the victim's condition. The National Memorial of Military Ascent in Grafton has moved closer to completion with the unveiling of its first bronze statue on May the 12th. The memorial honors the bravery of these 2nd Army Rangers during D-Day, modeled after the historic climate point de Hoc in Normandy. The completed site will feature 12 statues depicting the ascent. Community members, veterans, and officials gathered to celebrate the milestone, emphasizing the memorial's role in educating the public about military history and sacrifice. The project highlights community involvement and honors diverse contributions, including those of Native Americans during World War II. For more details or to support the memorial, you can visit the website graftonmemorial.org. Finally, in the news today, 2 Alton residents have been charged with felony counts of aggravated unlawful possession of weapons in separate incidents. Here's what we know. Jamorlin Pearson, 18, is accused of carrying a 6-shot revolver on May the 5th, which is illegal for individuals under 21 that are not engaged in lawful wildlife activities. He was taken into custody following his court appearance. Floyd Cheney, 28 years of age, was charged after allegedly possessing a loaded Glock 17 handgun without a valid FOID card on April the 24th. Cheney was released pre-trial, and both cases were presented by the Alton Police Department. Both individuals, again, presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And that's a look at what's happening around the Riverbend this morning. Let's look at weather real quick. 65 degrees in downtown Alton. It feels like 68 out there. Today, temperatures reach 78 degrees and drop down to 59 overnight as we head into Wednesday. On Wednesday, partly sunny skies, a high of 85, a low of 66. And on Thursday, it's going to be a little bit of a different day. Thunderstorms throughout it, and then a chance of rain later on that afternoon. It should clear out by the evening and make way for just a cloudy Friday. On Friday, cloudy skies, a high of 85, a low of 59 degrees. And then on Saturday, a high of 82 and a low of 56. We are getting closer and closer to summer, my friends. That's a look at the next 5 days. Here's what's happening now. It's 10:06 in downtown Alton. 65 degrees. It feels like 68 out there. Humidity at 97%. And then be mindful of that chance of a thunder shower in spots throughout the region later this afternoon. That's all to report now. Hey, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more Daily Show right after this on RiverBender.com and Roku TV, but first, let's take a look at downtown Alton.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Cardin Circus is coming to town. It's fun for the whole family. Don't miss out. Get ready for breathtaking aerial stunts and a heart-pounding thrill ride that will have you on the edge of your seat. 2 nights only. See the magic in Jerseyville on May 27th and Highland on May 29th. Bring the whole family and experience the wonder of Carden Circus. Get your tickets now at glowcircus.com.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car. I have a job. There's nothing holding me back anymore.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Good song, but I messed this up. Hold on. Well, we got to let this play out. But let me just tell you something. We are going to talk all things EAA Chapter 864 and the Pancake Breakfast and all the great events. We got Randy and Jan in here. I should have played Learning to Fly by Tom Petty. That would have been like I completely botched that. I'm kind of embarrassed right now. I don't even know if I can. I don't know how I'm going to do this now. I ruined it. It really is good to have you guys in the studio today. And really, it's always great to talk about the chapter. I know when I was at the fly-in, learning a little bit more, and really great to see kind of how it all works.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a good time when we have everybody out at the airport and let them see the airplanes and just learn about aviation.
Well, and it really just inspires so many children, too. And you really got to see that at the fly-in, which I thought was really cool because I've never really paid much attention to that, to be honest with you, until the fly-in that day. And just to see all the kids kind of light up and go, man, this is awesome. It was fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good educational opportunities that we can help to show the kids how the airplane actually flies and what makes things work.
Right. Well, and now, what is the EAA?
The EAA is a group of aviation enthusiasts. It was started by a gentleman by the name of Paul Proberezny in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Basically, it was a group of people that wanted to and enjoyed building their own airplanes. Mm-hmm. So it started there, and we still build a lot of airplanes. But it's grown from there as well. It's a social network, and it's an educational network. We try to teach and keep pilots informed on different aviation topics.
Well, and also, too, what is this Air Venture that's coming down the pipeline?
Oh, my. Air Venture is a huge air show. It's the largest air show in the world, I believe.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It's the world's busiest airport for that 1 week. During that 1 week, they'll have air shows. They've got educational opportunities that are just unbelievable. Approximately 1,600 seminars during the 1 week.
Wow.
You can learn to weld. You can do composites. You can do fabric covering. They build an airplane sometimes at Oshkosh in the 1 week, and at the last day, they actually take it off on the runway.
Wow.
You know, it's not painted,
Right.
but it's still complete aircraft.
That's incredible, though. I mean, that's truly incredible.
It's the learning opportunities are just amazing. You can not only learn how to build an airplane, but
Maintain it.
Different piloting techniques.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how to learn to fly. It's all there.
It's incredible. Do you guys go up quite a bit to this?
Oh yeah, I can't say we do it every year, but
we used to.
Yeah, we used to. We've had a lot of our family's friends join us up there, and
we camp.
Yeah, we camp up there.
Oh, see, now that would be fun to go do.
And it's camping literally out in the middle of a field.
Yeah,
where you're self-contained, and you know there's shower houses and those little markets and places.
Mm-hmm.
But it is the greatest place. You meet people from all over the world at this event.
I'm sure.
And we've camped next to folks from South Africa, Australia, that fly in just for spend the week at the air show, and then a lot of times they'll actually get a vehicle and they'll travel around the country while they're there.
I love that type of stuff, though. That's really cool. Yeah. And now, is that available on like tickets and all that information on the EAA website?
Yeah, EAA.org in that, and just look it up. There's gobs of videos out there on YouTube and every place else.
Airventure.org has a lot of.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Has a lot of videos.
Well, and now when it comes back to Chapter 864, take me through your two roles.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Let's see how many hats do we wear. I am actually officially the Young Eagle coordinator, and Young Eagles is a program where we fly kids for free, ages 8 to 17.
Wow.
And take them on an orientation flight, get them that spark of possibilities for aviation, and then tie in education.
Yeah.
Math and science and engineering, and just to get them excited.
That's awesome.
and potential career opportunities.
Well, and too, I mean, it's one of those where it goes so much, further than that when you realize what's truly available out there. And like you said, it doesn't have to be necessarily piloting the plane, but when it comes to even working on one as a mechanic or all those other components, that's really cool. Has the Young Eagles grown pretty good?
Oh, yes. Worldwide, since it started about 30-some years ago, they've flown 2.3 million kids.
Whoa.
Which, and some of those, are repeat flyers.
Right.
But those repeat flyers, even, a lot of times they will go on and get their private pilot's license, maybe get in the military and doing something with aviation, become commercial pilots, either flying jets or the big airliners. We've had quite a few there, our kids, and I say our kids because they can still communicate with us a lot of times, and sometimes they'll come back and show their enthusiasm and their love for aviation.
I love it. And Randy, take me through your part of Chapter 864.
Well, I am one of the Young Eagle pilots, but I also work with the scholarship opportunities that are available for kids.
That's really cool.
This last year we had a young lady that basically her private pilot training was completely paid for.
Oh, wow.
And just an amazing opportunity. And then we have another chapter scholarship where we assist an additional person with sharing some of their expenses.
That's really cool. Yeah. Well, and Randy, take me through what it's like flying those kids around in that Young Eagles program, too.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. Quite a few of the first-time kids are somewhat apprehensive about going up in an airplane for the first time.
Sure.
And I really understand that. But I go take the kids for a walk around the airplane, show them the different control surfaces, how the airplane actually flies, what it takes to maneuver the airplane. Once we do that, we'll get in, start up, we'll listen to the weather, talk to the control tower, we'll taxi out to the runway, we'll get approval for takeoff, and we'll go for a 15 to 20 minute ride around the area. Maybe hopefully see their house or something like that and point out different obstacles. Well, there's Walmart or there's the Lock and Dam. And, Lewis and Clark. And they can see where they are within the community.
That's so cool. Well, and honestly, now whenever you're up there, what are some of the questions they ask when they're in the plane? That would be kind of fascinating for me.
how fast are we going? How high are we going?
That's cool. Okay,
what else can you do?
So when are we doing a flip? No.
No, when we take the kids up, we stay flat.
We don't.
You gotta.
No aerobatics allowed. And by the way, the Young Eagles program is really neat because it gives those kids that are a little apprehensive, and even the parents, a little peace of mind that, hey, these folks that are flying these kids, safety is a first priority. If it's not a good weather day, our pilots don't fly.
Right.
And they're all checking each other that their abilities are right for these kids. And we do youth protection, so we're protecting the kids.
Well, that's good for parents to know, too, because I can see that's always, a conversation for sure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when you see these kids come down from the airplane, especially the ones that have been a little apprehensive, I tell them at registration, go out, watch the other kids coming back and ask questions. And then after you go up, if you go up, come back and see me. And these kids are grinning from ear to ear and are saying, when can I go up next? When can I go up next? And it's like, that's why we do this.
Well, in Chapter 864 you guys are based out of the St. Louis Regional Airport, correct?
St. Louis Regional, yes, sir.
When do y'all meet?
We meet on the second Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. at the St. Louis Regional Airport Administration Building.
Really cool. And now, what are some of the duties of the chapter? Throughout the course of the year.
Well, it's kind of what we call a three-legged stool. We try to involve aviation, education, and some social activities. Mm-hmm. So we'll have different events that we'll host, like a pancake breakfast, or a fly-in, or what we call a fly-out, where a group of pilots and multiple airplanes fly to a different airport, maybe to go see something or just go to have a nice lunch someplace. But a lot of times when we do that, if we know of an individual that doesn't have an airplane or is interested in just seeing what it's all about, say, come on and go along with us.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, and also, too, is anyone open to be a part of the chapter?
Oh, yeah. Anybody that's got any interest in aviation, they don't have to be pilots. Mm-hmm. We welcome anybody, and it's great social.
Yeah.
We've got people of all ages. We've got young people, 15, 16 years old in our chapter, all the way up to 80-year-olds. We've had a young, and I say young lady, 65, retire from her job, get a pilot's license.
Oh, that's cool.
And so aviation's for anybody at any age level.
Well, and also coming down the pipeline, and we're here in just 4 days, is going to be the pancake breakfast. It's crazy that we're almost out of May. May the 17th, 7:30 in the morning until 11:30. And now, where's this going to be at?
This will be held at Piston Aviation, which is right next door to the control tower at St. Louis Regional Airport.
Okay, perfect. And then take me through what the sights and sounds of this event are going to be like.
Oh, you're going to have an all-you-can-eat pancake, scrambled eggs, sausage, juice, coffee, and that. And then hopefully the weather's going to cooperate with us, and we'll have airplanes not only from our airport, but from other airports flying in to enjoy pancakes and talk about airplanes with everybody.
Cool. And now adults are $10, and then kids 4 to 12 are $5, correct?
Yes.
And then under 3 is free?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And believe me, those 3-year-olds can put away the food.
And then take me through some of the hands-on educational activities.
We'll have some devices there that will help describe how a wing produces its lift. Mm-hmm. We'll have an old instrument panel there so that the kids can see what the instruments look like in an airplane, and we can describe to them what they do and what it means to the pilot, so that when they actually get in the airplane, they can look over at the gauge and say, "Oh, I'm doing 110 miles an hour."
That's awesome. Well, and then also you're having a Young Eagles rally, correct?
Yes, on June the 7th, from 9 to 12, we're doing a Young Eagles rally. The information for that is on a website called EAAchapters.org. They can go on that. It is online registration only. Our September event in the past, we've always done walk-ins also. We have 200, 300 kids show up. Our pilots have said, that's just too much. We need to have some control. And nationally, we have put together, our organization has put together a website where kids can see events in the area and go in and register, put all that paperwork stuff in there. And we know how many kids to expect, and we can assign our pilots to it. We can have everything ready for them.
One of the other things that's really nice about this EAChapters.org site, you can put your zip code in it, and then you can see what other chapters are doing as well. So if the timing for the Young Eagle flight for this chapter doesn't work out for you, well, maybe another chapter in our area would be holding one that would also work.
Absolutely.
So we want to get the kids up in the air, let them have their sensation.
That's really cool.
And like Chapter 32 over in St. Charles County does it on a monthly basis from April through, I think, October on the second Saturdays. And they've got an awesome opportunity. They've got a facility. They've got educational things. They do aviation merit badges for scout programs. And and we're affiliated with them also.
Right.
All of the chapters in the St. Louis region, we all work together.
Well, that's really...
Which is really good.
Well, it really is, because it helps grow, the organization even bigger and better than it ever could be.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, and now take me through this Aero Educate. What is that website?
Aero Educate is a free online program that kids, kindergarten through 12th grade, can get on, and they can actually do hands-on activities. And by the way, this is not just for kids. This is for parents. This is for teachers. For teachers, there are actually lesson plans to do different activities with national standards attached. They work with universities to get that tied to the national standards. So it's a great educational opportunity. And going to the fly-in, going to the Young Eagles programs, going to visit airports, all that in museums, that's all part of the Aero Educate. There's scholarship opportunities with that also.
Well, and with that being said, too, I wanted to go back to the rally. Is that going to be at the airport as well?
Yes.
Guessing? Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, that is at St. Louis Regional Airport, and we have a good time, weather permitting.
Always weather permitting.
And last September, we got Hurricane Helene came in, and our clouds didn't lift.
Oh, that's right.
And we had 200 kids signed up. We couldn't fly any kids because safety is the first priority. And our rules are we cannot fly if the ceiling of the clouds is that low.
Well, I mean, and safety has to be your first priority. I mean, even though climbing a rock wall is dangerous, it's not flying in an airplane, and it's really important that you guys do those things.
Yeah. And by the way, flying in a small aircraft is not unsafe. The media likes to throw all those accidents out there on the news. But if you look at how many airplanes are actually flying at any time, you've got a very small percentage that have an incident.
Very good safety record.
It is a very good safety record. It's actually safer than driving in a car in a lot of ways.
Well, I agree, because it's like how many car accidents you hear about a day,
Yeah.
And really, when it comes to this pancake breakfast, what do you hope the community gets the most of?
Just exposure to the airplanes.
Because when these airplanes are on the ramp area, people will be able to go out and look at the airplanes. Our last pancake breakfast last fall, we had some different airplanes fly in that even our pilots were out there going, oh, that's really cool. And getting all excited.
That's awesome. Well, and for more information, what's that website again, or your Facebook page?
Our Facebook page, you can Google EAA Chapter 864. And our Facebook page is also EAA Chapter 864. It'll also, I've seen the pancake breakfast on RiverBender.com. Appreciate that support of everything in the community that you guys do, too.
Oh, no worries. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping by. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope it all turns out well.
And we'll hope to see you. Come out and have pancakes with us.
Yeah, I might have to. Pancakes are always a tempting offer,
Pancakes and airplanes can't pass up opportunities.
That's right. At 10:27, we'll take a quick break. More Daily Show on this Tuesday morning comes back to you next in the heart of the 618.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Cardin Circus is coming to town. It's fun for the whole family. Don't miss out. Get ready for breathtaking aerial stunts and a heart-pounding thrill ride that will have you on the edge of your seat. 2 nights only. See the magic in Jerseyville on May 27th and Highland on May 29th. Bring the whole family and experience the wonder of Cardin Circus. Get your tickets now at glowcircus.com.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car. I have a job. There's nothing holding me back anymore.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com. On RiverBender.com.
Running down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words wrong.
Welcome back, Daily Show, hitting you in the nose. 10:19 is the time on this Tuesday morning, the 6th day of May. Bluff City Outdoors having their first ever Outdoors Fest, May the 30th through June the 1st. This is really cool.
Yeah, it was something that we've been thinking about for a few years and decided to go ahead and get it launched this year and get it started.
Well, and we were just talking, I mean, this has been an interesting spring, to say the least, when it comes just to fishing weather, you know?
Oh, it's been windy, very windy, cold, rainy. It's just, we haven't had that many nice, sunny, warm days with no wind.
Summer coming ahead, though.
Yeah,
just get ready.
It's coming up, yeah.
Well, and now at Bluff City, you know, how are things looking right now? Is there anything new in the shop?
I mean, if you haven't been there in a while, I mean, we did, you know, this is our 3rd year of having a full-blown archery pro shop and a shooting range in there for archery. And a nice 30-yard range, which is totally, we're the only one in the area doing that. And, and then, you know, tons of fishing stuff, and we've revamped that the last couple of years, so it's a lot better than it was a couple of years ago.
I was going to ask you about the archery range, because I haven't had a chance to have you in the studio yet. When did you guys decide on doing that? Because I know it was a couple of years now, but was that something you've wanted to do for quite some time?
It actually was. It's something when I first bought the business back in 2003 that I was really considering it then, and then we kind of went a different route with some wholesale business and stuff, and then it was put on the back burner, and then COVID hit. It really blew up the fishing and outdoors activity sports. Everybody was getting out to fish, to hunt. You know, everybody was going outdoors. So I told my wife, I said, if we're ever going to do it, this is the time to do it. And so we decided to pull the trigger and get it done.
How's everything been with it so far?
It's been pretty good. So like we're totally on course. So what I had laid out, you know, talking to the bank and all that stuff, because you got to present data to them of where you think you're going to get, and we're right on course for all of that.
Really cool. Are you booked up at the range? Can people still?
Oh yeah, people can come in and shoot. We have such good hours. You know, most archery shops don't have very good hours, but you can shoot on the range from any time we're open.
Oh, right on, man. That's really cool.
8 to 8, so.
Man, that's 12 hours of fun right there. Hey, you also have a whole weekend of it, May 30th through June the 1st. And now this is at the Sportsman's Club. It's really just a weekend packed of it. You got a kids fishing derby on Saturday, but let's start right here with the 3D archery shoot with the bag targets. What's that look and sound like?
Yeah, so we're going to lay out, hopefully about 30 3D targets there and some bag targets. And the Sportsman's Club's been wanting us since we started the archery to come out and do some 3D shoots there. So this is the first one. We're going to try to do 3 or 4 a year.
Wow.
So we're going to try to do a couple more this summer. So they're really excited about it. We're really excited about it. So yeah, for that weekend, so we set it for the 3D course to be open from 1 to 5 on Friday. 9 to 5 on Saturday, and then 9 to 2 on Sunday.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, $15 to shoot the course is really, I mean, that's a great deal.
It's a great deal. Yeah. And we'll get all that set up and get that real nice. So.
Man, I like this. Then you got the kids fishing derby on Saturday morning from 10 to noon, and prizes too for the kids.
Yeah, we'll have prizes for biggest fish, smallest fish. We usually do the most fish. Yeah, we've always done a fishing derby out there. This is the first time we put it with this event.
It makes sense though.
It does because we got the Memorial Tournament going on at the same time. So yeah, the kids fishing derby is going to be 10 to noon. Need to get there a little early to get registered. Mm-hmm. In the past, we've always had plenty of rides. We're going to have a fair amount of rides for kids to be able to use. But I think we might have more kids this year, so bring their own stuff, and we'll have bait there and stuff. Really cool.
And before we get into the Memorial Catfish Tournament, really cool that you have trapping seminars and fishing seminars too that are going to be taking place.
So they're going to be we're going to do all of those. We decided we're going to do them all on Saturday.
Really cool.
Just make it the one heavy day there. So working with the Illinois Trappers Association, I'm a trapper myself, to have trapping seminars. They're basically going to be introductory to try to get people exposed to it. We sell a lot of trapping stuff at the shop, and we try to grow that as a way of promoting people how to manage wildlife. I mean, we're overrun with raccoons and possums and
groundhogs.
You name it. There's just an overabundance because there aren't a lot of guys trapping.
Man, anymore. I'm telling you what, though, this groundhog that I'm dealing with, Mark, sucker could take me on.
They can be a pain.
I think it weighs at least half of me.
Yes, they can be pretty big too. Yes, yeah, they're and they can be a pain. They're destructive too.
Yeah, they are. Well, and I think it's really good the educational component too, and just getting especially the younger you can get children familiarized with the outdoors, whether it's fishing or hunting or even just learning how to manage wildlife. It's really cool, man, for sure.
Yep, yeah, because we're going to cover all your basic, your fur bearers. We're going to have a raccoon seminar, mink seminar, muskrat, beaver, otter.
Oh,
tiger.
Wow!
Yeah, so we'll have somebody that's very good at all of those.
That's awesome.
An hour or so talking about those.
Man, I like that a lot.
Yeah,
that's really
and they're
cool.
going to be going on just kind of like on the hour for most of the day during that time.
I love it. And what type of vendors you got going down there?
That's I'm trying to get some more of those out there. Like I said, I don't know what all we're going to have yet.
No worries.
We're just the Sportsman's Club is going to be great there because they're going to have food on site. So
if someone was interested, could they reach out to you?
Yeah, just reach out to me if somebody wants maybe a popcorn person. You got all those different ones. So hopefully we'll get that filled out and nice. Like I said, first year, don't know really how it's going to go.
I love this. So I mean, the whole idea of it's such a great thing though, because there's only a couple of events out there like this in the whole region for it. So to do more is perfect.
Yeah, it is. And then the fishing seminars, we have one of my pro staffers down there, Eric Moore. We call him the fishing magician. Outstanding fisherman. He's a local guide too, but he's going to teach a class in using forward-facing sonar.
Oh,
so that's something targeted towards your serious. A lot of people buy those electronics and they don't know how to use them. So he's going to try to help people out there. And then he's also going to be talking about bass fishing and crappie fishing.
I bet you've only experienced that a time or two of people not knowing how to work what they bought.
Yes. It happens a lot.
No, I really like this memorial tournament that you all are doing. This is Saturday as well. $120 entry fee, but take me through this.
So the memorial tournament is in honor of Vicki Mathena, who was known as the Mississippi Queen. She was very well known in the catfishing world.
Okay.
And then Lily Mae Hill, which is my wife's aunt. Both of those great people succumbed to cancer.
Oh, man.
So this is the first annual memorial tournament in their honor. And out of the $120 entry fee, I'm telling you, $20 is going to go to a donation to the American Cancer Society or some other group.
Wow.
And then it's just I'm hoping that people will come out because I didn't want to make it a big money tournament like the Alton Catfish Classic.
Right.
I wanted it to be, hey, this is meant to be enjoyable.
Low stress environment.
Yes, low stress. And so We're going to be fishing on the river. It's going to take place on the river, and then the weigh-in's going to be at the Sportsman's Club.
Well, and so the meeting and the live well check is at 5 a.m. at Bluff City Outdoors.
Bluff City Outdoors, yep. That's when, I'll be down there to check everybody's live well, and then they'll trailer off, and do their fishing. They got to, start fishing about 7. And then they got to be back and in line at the Sportsman's Club by, I think I have on there 3:30.
Mm-hmm. And then you got a 3 fishing limit.
3 fish limit. It's all catfish.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Wanted to make sure of that. And then check-in. So can we show up the day of and register and all that? Or
yes,
okay.
They can show up the day of. I also put links out there on the there's links on the Facebook events page, and I have them on the Bluff City Outdoors site under the tournament entry. So there is links there for people to pre-register.
Wonderful. And then food and drinks available on site that day for the tournament?
through the Sportsman's Club.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Yep. Wonderful. Well, do you have a moment to stick around for a quick break?
Yep.
I got to pay a quick bill. It's almost 10:30 here in downtown Alton. More Daily Show comes back to you next in the heart of the 618.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
They couldn't see, they just didn't understand. And looking in the mirror, there were fools that either.
Welcome back, 10:30 on the nose. Man, this weather is kicking my ass, Mark. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Oh, it's been a rough one. Yep.
I feel like I'm fighting Tyson in the 90s. My ear's getting ready to go at any time, you know?
Not good.
No, man. Hey, getting back into this, though, I think this is such a great event. And this is the Bluff City Outdoors Fest, which takes place May 30th through June the 1st. We didn't touch on this yet, but also going to be the world record, the Illinois and Missouri record, blue catfish are going to be there.
Yeah, well, we had replicas done. They're down at the shop, and we're going to just make sure that the Sportsman's Club has someplace inside where I can display them. I can't risk putting them outside and having a flash storm come and hit. They're extremely well done. I mean, the guy that did them, he's down in Perryville, Missouri. He won some worldwide contests.
I was going to say, it's an art form for sure.
He was an artist that got into doing the mouth. Yep.
Wow. Well, and now what's the biggest one you've ever caught?
Catfish. I'm more of a bluegill fish, probably about 5 pounds.
Really?
Yeah. I'm more of a bluegill guy.
Cool, man. Did you have a shop record down there for catfish or anything from?
So the biggest one that our customers have caught down there, Anthony Maggard has a 114, and he also has a 104. He caught the 104, and Jason Mathena, Vicky's son, had a celebration of her life after a couple months after she had passed. They had a big fish tournament, just caught one fish, each contestant, and Anthony caught that 104 in that tournament. So,
man, that's incredible. Well, and I think it's really cool, though, just for, everyone to kind of get a glimpse, because I guarantee you that even adults, half of them don't understand how big these catfish can get, and just a chance to see them,
I mean, people do not realize what's in that river. They just don't. I mean, they're enormous.
Well, and that's what I mean. Just is such a cool thing. If you're just tuning in, there's going to be a 3D archery shoot, bag targets, multiple shooting classes, all 3 days. It's $15 to shoot the course. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday 1 to 5, Saturday 9 to 5, and then Sunday 9 to 2. And then that kids fishing derby takes place from 10 a.m. to noon on Saturday with prizes and all that. And really great. Do you have a cap for how many kids can be a part of this? Or?
We don't. In the past we have, because when we did it, not as part of this event, we kept it at around 30. But now we're going to just say, hey, if 50, 60 kids want to fish it, we're going to be more than happy to accommodate.
Well, and then if you're just tuning in too, that memorial tournament's going to be on Saturday as well. $120 entry fee, and you're going to meet and do the live well check at 5 a.m. at Bluff City outdoors, and then fishing 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And then meeting back at 3:30 at Sportsman's.
Yep. So that's where we're going to do the weigh-in there at Sportsman's Club.
Now, is there any rules or anything that folks need to know about for the tournament that are
the tournament, I mean, it's 3 fish limit. Really, you can't start fishing until 7. You can get to your spot ahead of that, because it's a trailered event. We're not really going to limit where you can trailer to.
That's what I was going to ask you.
But the time to get back, is pretty much, hey, we need you in line by 3:30 back at the Sportsman's Club.
Really cool.
Yeah, and just you can go pre-fish. The week of before that and stuff. But, this is meant to be a fun tournament.
I love it, man. And it's really a great way to kick off the summer, too.
Yeah.
And now we were talking a little bit. There is going to be some seminars taking place, too, which I think is really cool. The fishing ones are going to be awesome, especially for all the ages. But I love these trapping seminars, because this is something that I think so many folks are going to want to know more information about.
Yeah, it's working with the Illinois Trappers Association. Like I said, I'm a trapper myself. I've been able to line up... I think Madison Daniels, I think she's going to do a muskrat, otter, and beaver. I'm going to do the mink trapping seminar. Frank Bates, he's out of Carlinville, Illinois, great coyote trapper. He's going to come down and do a coyote seminar. And we got a couple more to fill in, and then we're going to see how it goes. It's meant to be an introduction for people this year. And then if it really gets a lot of interest, and down the road we'll add fur handling and things like that to let people get familiar with that.
Mink are becoming a really big problem, aren't they?
Mink aren't too bad, but if you got chickens, they are.
That's what I was stepping into. And just at Bluff City, what are some of the things you guys got cooking down there? Any good specials or deals running right now?
We got we always have deals going on. We got like Ancient Mariner catfish gear, his rods and reels. We got them on sale right now. And then we got we always got some stuff on clearance. Come down and check that out. But we've really done a lot of revamping in the shop. We've launched our crappie crusher baits. That's our in-house line of crappie plastics. So we got that fully up and running, and they're really top notch. We tested the crap out of them. People loved them. So now we got them bagged and on the shelves down there. And we just started our bass crusher line of soft plastics for bass fishing. So it's coming together. We do that stuff to get high quality baits out there at a little bit less price by doing it
right on.
No middlemen there. So
and I just think it's really cool, man. I mean, you guys really, and your social media is fun to follow too, because I mean, you take a look at some of the the bows that you got and some of the other archery equipment, but also what was this fishing game that you were drawing for the other day?
So we do they're just raffles out there. I launch them on Facebook. We'll do a fishing one. We'll do an archery one. I work with our vendors, make sure everybody's cool with doing it.
Right.
And so we'll do them, and right now we got an archery one going on. So
I love it. And how do you enter one of those?
So you can we use Venmo to pay pay for the entry. They can also call in on a credit card, or they can just stop by the shop.
Yeah, this is the archery one that we got cooking, don't we?
Yeah, I got an archery Matthews bow going on right now.
Yeah, look at that. Hold on, let's see if I can zoom in on this sucker. I do get paid to do a job here. Yeah, look at that. No,
it's that's their lift 29.5, and then like I said, we sell the tickets and then we draw it, and whoever wins it gets a bow.
I love it, man. And just circling back real quick to Bluff City Outdoors Fest. We'll link everything that we can. Is the Outdoors Fest May 30th, 12 p.m. to June the 1st at 3 p.m. This is a really great event with a 3D archery shoot bag targets all 3 days. The fishing derby on Saturday for the kids. The memorial tournament on Saturday as well. And is there anything else we got to talk about, Mark, for the event?
That's pretty much the crux of it. Like I said, it's going to be, it's an inaugural event. And even if somebody wanted to come out and hang out for the weekend at Camp Primitively, they're allowing that on the Sportsman's Club grounds there. So somebody could come out and just say, hey, I want to camp in a tent, and they can do that out there. That's been approved.
Man,
they normally don't do that, but they said for this event. Long term is we're going to try to turn it into where we have the rendezvous types of folks.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be really cool.
Yeah, it would be really cool to kind of, and then we're really pushing the traditional side of the bows, and we'll have a lot of those up there for people to check out too. So
man, that'd be awesome. That's an art form in itself, is traditional.
It is, and we're by far the biggest traditional archery shop in the St. Louis area. Yeah, there's nobody close. I mean,
100%. And I haven't. I've heard that from multiple people. Seriously.
Yeah, our lead bow tech Jeff Dunner. That's his true passion, and he said we need to do it. We need Town Hall Archery down in Bevel had closed, and they were kind of the go-to place. Yeah. So. That's where he came from. So,
man, this is cool, man. Well, best of luck with this. I hope the event goes well, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon, man.
Yep.
Hey, we'll take a quick break. While I have you, let me fill you in on my friends over at Sparks Junk Removal and Hauling. Since Bill Clinton was in office and that hot tub's been sitting in your backyard and that mother-in-law keeps giving you the dirty look and the neighbors getting ready to report you could have just called Denise Sparks. You would have had that crew over there picking up your junk, getting it out of your yard, and making everybody happy. 2 years ago, she decided to be the new trash provider in the 618 and mark those trash cans, popping up and mating like bunny rabbits, purple and yellow all across the 618. And it's because Sparks Junk Removal and Hauling answers their phone, and they treat you just like a customer. Go to sparksjunkremoval.net, reclaim your space and your trash pickup route today, and don't forget to tell them that you know who sent you over their way.
good. They couldn't see and they just didn't understand. And looking in the mirror, there were fools at either hand. You shine a little light on my life. You shine a little light on my life. You shine a little light on my life. And let me see.
Welcome back. Daily Show. Tuesday. Almost through it. It's wild how fast this month's moving on by. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it really is just moving by quickly. And been a good show. We had a great conversation with OSF Healthcare today, and great one with Randy and Jan. And then I just have one final thing to fill you in on, if my voice can hold on. Please. Dan Brannon reporting for us that Ameren, Illinois spokesperson Brian Bretsch did confirm Tuesday that around 2,200 customers in the Alton Godfrey vicinity were without power around 8:45 a.m. after a downed power line. Crews are in the process of rerouting impacted customers to offer those supplies back. Crews will make the repairs to the down line, he added. We'll have more information there for you, but a lot of people were reaching out about their power outage and due to a down line in Alton. So Dan Brannon bringing you that brief update on that slight disruption this morning. And then really quickly, while I have you too, Sydney Sinks has this one. During their board meeting on May the 12th, the Edwardsville Community Unit School District number 7 board outlined a few of the construction projects that are planned for the summer. This is probably going to be the busiest summer of construction that anybody in our community remembers, said Superintendent Shelton. I don't know that there's been a busier summer. Shelton added that this was a non-exhaustive list, and other smaller maintenance projects will also take place once students are out of the building. District Architect Alex Metzger went through major project with the Board of Education. Secure double entries will be installed at Columbus, Edwardsville High School, Glen Carbon, Hamel, LeClaire, Woodland, the John Davis Wrestling Center, and EHS South. The construction will be fully funded by the 2023 bond. Metzger explained that 95% of D7 buildings will also have an SSO entry, meaning the exterior doors are locked and visitors must be buzzed in and then meet with the SSO, the school security officer. The SSO will buzz them in the main office or into the school and direct them to the main office. As part of the schedule, the secure double entry installations, Nelson Elementary School's offices will relocate. The offices will be relocated to classrooms 210 and 211, and they were funded by that bond as well. A portion of the roofs at Glen Carbon and Woodland will be replaced. Columbus, Hamel, and Nelson will see a complete roof replacement. The construction is a result of hail damage and is funded by insurance proceeds. Liberty Middle School, Glen Carbon, and EHS will also have solar panels installed. The high school currently has half of its panels installed and it's producing electricity. The rest of the system will be installed this summer and again funded by 2024 debt certificates. There also will be asphalt resealing projects at the John Davis Wrestling Center, Columbus Elementary, and the sports complex at Edwardsville High School. After the summer school is finished, LeClaire Elementary and Liberty will also see those asphalt resealing projects, including a full replacement of the Circle Drive at Liberty. The asphalt resealing is funded through the operation and maintenance budget. Lincoln Middle School will also see several construction projects during the summer. The 60,000 square foot addition will be substantially completed in May. Asbestos abatement is a major aspect of the Lincoln construction. The school will also receive a graded upper parking lot as the district reconstructs the Woodlands parent pickup and drop-off locations next door. Woodlands front parking lot will be partially replaced and the drive lane access from 157 will be reconstructed. For a full recap of all of the upgrades going on at the Edwardsville School District, you can see Sydney Sink's comprehensive write-up at RiverBender.com, but I'm out of time today. And man, I'm just getting smoked by this weather. I mean, I'm not even being funny about this. Now, this is going on week 2. This has been every year. I've noticed this around this time because we're in year 3 of the show. Oh, man. Hey, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Try your best to stay out of jail.